Hello, Flosstube friends. It's Christine from Hollis Hens Create. It's Sunday, April 30th, and it's been a long time since I've been on Flosstube. I think my last one was February 19th. This is my channel about cross stitch and maybe some other crafty endeavors from time to time, but today we're going to talk mostly about cross stitch. And like I said, it's been a while. Life happens. As you can see, I'm in a new area. My tables and everything in the area where I was before, which typically is the dining room, but we're not setting it up as a dining room. We sold our dining room furniture a long time ago. So that room is finally being redone. My husband is moving back next weekend, and he's going to bring furniture with him that he had in his apartment. So we kind of had to scramble to get some things done so that as he brings back, more furniture, we can put those things in place. It was a struggle. I finally just picked something. I don't know if I'll like the paint or not, but as he says, we can always redo it later. So, how hard is it to redo later and get him to help me redo it later? I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, again, this is, let's see, episode number 46. I'm getting back in the habit here. I've been working on my notes, and it's been 2 months, so I'm actually 2.5 months, I think, February 19th. So let's get it going. A little life update. As you know, if you saw my last Flosstube, I was headed to market shortly after I filmed. That was March 3rd through the 5th, and brought back, a lot of goodies. One of the things I'm probably most excited about are some new fabrics, and I'm going to show you in just a little bit some fabrics that I brought back from Needle Bling Designs. They had 2 new fabrics that they introduced at market, and they've had some fabrics, and then they're getting ready to introduce quite a few more. So the line is really starting to develop really well, their color line. So I'm going to show you some of those in just a little bit. Let's see, what else happened? Well, unfortunately, and one of the reasons why I haven't been able to film is on the 16th of March, my mom, who, if you've been following me for a while, you might know that she had had 2 heart attacks back to back and flatlined in both of them, and that was actually 5 years ago, April 15th, and has been in congestive heart failure ever since. She's never improved more than 48% heart function. Now she's down to 17% heart function, and because of that drastic drop in heart function, it was causing blood clots to form, and one did, and she had a mild stroke on the 16th. So of course that was right in the middle of everything as far as my business was concerned, and so I had to kind of jump in the car, and she lives about 180 miles away from me in Springfield, and did some hospital sitting for a while. The stroke happened in the left front lobe, which is where your memory and speech and cognition are primarily housed in that area of your brain. So physically, other than the fact that she's generally weak because she doesn't have much heart function, she's not too bad. Weaker on her right side because, your right side of your brain controls the left and the left controls the right. So she's weaker on that side. She's now a fall risk because they had to put her on blood thinners. supposed to be on a walker all the time, you know, things like that, and 24/7 care. So I've been driving back and forth to Springfield a couple times. It's been, you know, in the same day. So that's, you know, like 5.5, 6 hours of driving in a day, and getting appointments done and things. And I have her power of attorney. So, you know, that has caused me to have to do a lot of those types of things, which, you know, I knew it was coming at some point, but I don't know if you're ever completely prepared, right? It's been very helpful. I've talked to several other stitchers and friends who have been through something similar, and I really appreciate their words of advice, and you know, you just know you're not alone. So that's an ongoing situation. Then we did have a plan to, my husband had a convention in Columbus, Ohio, the first weekend. It was like, I don't know, 5th, 6th, something like that, of April. And so that was Thursday, Friday. So I flew out then on Friday night and met him. I flew to Cincinnati, and then he picked me up and we drove down to Canton and went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. As all of you know, if you've been following me for a while, I'm a huge football fan. And so we went to the Hall of Fame, which was a great day. We really enjoyed it. And then we did some antiquing after, and Canton's a nice little town. We had a really lovely dinner. It was Easter weekend, and so we were able to book a really nice dinner in a really nice restaurant, and so enjoyed that. So the stitching that I had to do in that stretch of time was a lot of hospital stitching and airport stitching. But, you know, don't knock that, because I got to finish while I was sitting in the airport in Cleveland. No. Where was I? I don't even remember. Because I had to fly from Cleveland. I didn't fly into Cincinnati. I flew into Cleveland. So I had to fly. I was sitting in the Cleveland airport when I got to finish, and then I had to go to Chicago and had a 3-hour layover there. But I ended up sitting next to a lady who, you know, says, "Oh, I love your stitching," and we got started chatting, and I did more chatting than I did stitching. But anyway, let's see, what else has happened? I mentioned my husband's moving back. That's very exciting. He's still going to travel, but he'll be based out of Kansas City, working out of the house when he's home. So even if he's not here because he's traveling, at least all his belongings are here. So that's good. My daughter Savannah, we have huge news. She is the senior manager of media relations and something PR. It's a long title for the Seattle Kraken. And if you're not familiar with the Seattle Kraken, that is an NHL team, National Hockey League. And she developed a series, which is a series of player spotlights and introducing the team to Seattle and the world. And one of her episodes, it was episode number 2, focused on the player Yanni Gourde, was nominated for an Emmy, and we are beyond excited. Obviously, this is not a primetime Emmy. You're not going to see her, you know, at the primetime Emmys where they, you know, do all of the shows that we watch every night, kind of a situation, or watch every week. But we're still very excited, and June 3rd is the Emmy Awards for the categories that her program has fallen into. So we're super excited, and just the fact that, you know, you can say I have an Emmy-nominated daughter, and who knows, maybe an Emmy winner. So that's pretty exciting. And the Kraken, in their second season ever, has gone to the playoffs, which is just awesome. So I'm hoisting my tea in my Kraken glass and saying, you know, go Seattle Kraken. So tonight they can actually close out a first round win over the Colorado Avalanche. And that could be very exciting because the Avalanche are actually defending Cup champions. So anyway, we're very excited about that too. So just a little brag. So what else? Let's see. I did attend a retreat this past weekend. And got to see some really good friends. I got to meet the fabulous Kim Goldman, if you're familiar with her. It's Contented Needleworker Kim, I believe, because she merged her Flosstube name with her Instagram name. And she's a prolific stitcher, just stitches the most beautiful things. And I got to meet her. There was a dinner. The retreat was split into 2 sessions, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday. And we had a dinner on Friday night in between. And I got to meet her. I got to meet Barbara, who's a Nevada stitcher, in person. And so a lot of the other stitchers I already knew, but it was still good to you know, sit and share a meal and chat with friends like, you know, Jamie and Lenny and Roberta and just several of the others who were there. So that was very nice. Mindy Russell, she's just a real sweetheart. So, and I was the beneficiary. Oh, and Ginger, you know, Ginger Scholl's my buddy. So she doesn't live super far away from me, and another prolific stitcher that if you're on Instagram, you I'm sure see all of her beautiful, beautiful photos that she presents to us each day. And I got a couple of just the sweetest gifts. So I did a little bit of airport pickup for one of my friends who was coming in, and she stitched and made this, let me open that, beautiful pouch. Look at that blackbird design fabric in there. And I've already taken this out. This had a gorgeous scissor fob that I actually have attached to some scissors. And it's a Maggie Bonomi design. But I love, love, love this. So I just had to share and show this. It's my good friend who knows she is. Thank you so much again. And another really good friend just gave a couple of us these really things. And I just wanted to show it because it's kind of about this community. Beautiful things come together one stitch at a time. So it's not only, you know, our stitching and our projects, but also our community. And so this was given to me, and I really, really treasure that. Thank you for that friend who shared that with me. Okay, so let's get into some goodies, okay? Gonna kind of mix things up just a tad bit. I'm sorry if there's a little glare on my glasses. I'm in a different spot, so I'm adjusting lighting and things like that. And so I do have my ring, and if I do this, you see it floating past my glasses. But I want to show these linens, and so I want to really make sure that we've got good light to show these so that you can really hopefully get a good feel for what some of these linens look like from Needle Bling. Now Needle Bling, Teresa and Brian, Teresa's been a designer for quite a while, and she's been active obviously in the stitching world for quite some time, but they decided to, sorry, I'm just gathering up all these linens. They decided to jump into the world of fabric dyeing. I want to say, I'm thinking it's like maybe 3 years ago. And you're probably familiar with the first of their releases, which I'll show you, were Shrekie's Tan. And everything I'm showing you is a 40 count linen today. So here is Shrekie's Tan and Butter Crunch. Yes, Butter Crunch. So I don't know if that Butter Crunch is really showing its true color. It's kind of a yellowy, wow. This is going to be a little tougher than I thought. I apologize. Let me see if I hold it up against another fabric, the contrast might be better. I think that's probably a little bit better. But this is Butter Crunch, one of the first releases. And again, like I said, you probably were familiar with Shrekie's Tan. And they had the best names. And this is actually named after one of their dogs who passed away, Shrek. And then their next releases after those two were Yellowstone and Pumpkin Pie. Wow, and I don't know if these are gonna, well, I guess, yeah, if I hold them really close, I think you can see them really well there. So Pumpkin Pie, I absolutely love. And I really think that if you did like a monochromatic black stitch, and I want to say Puntini this last expo or potentially market had one that came out. It's called, I think, Haunted Halloween or Haunted House, and it's all black stitching, so it's like that silhouette type of design. And I think if you did it on Pumpkin Pie, boy, that would really look awesome, because it's not orange, but it's a really beautiful color, And I don't know if you, as you can see that I'm holding these, these yards up. Their linen is, as a shop owner, is awesome for me to deal with, right? I'm a linen wrangler, so I cut tons and tons of linen every day. And when I receive their linen, it is in a beautiful rectangle yard. A yard is typically 36 inches by 55 inches. Could be down to 52 inches depending upon shrinkage and what that method of dyeing is that dyer uses, right? Do they use cold? Do they use hot? Do they use the dryer? Do they not? Oh, that kind of rhymed, didn't it? So when I get linen from Teresa and Brian, and Teresa always laughs that she's anal, but I really appreciate that, because I can put it onto my big cutting table, and I have, huge boards that have all the measurements and things on them. I can lay it out in a fat half. A fat half is 27 by 36. So you're always going to have the 36. You're splitting the yard, the 55-inch length, in half, so that it's approximately 27 by 36 inches. Okay, so when we sell by the fat eighth, you're taking that 55-inch by 36, you're cutting it this way and this way. So you have 8 usable, sellable pieces typically that you're going to sell out of that. All right, so when you're ordering, you would order, like if you wanted just a fat eighth, which is like a 13 by 18, sometimes 13 by 17, depending upon the shrinkage of that particular dyer's yards. You're gonna order one piece because it's one fat eighth. And then from there, it would go to 2 pieces, which becomes a fat quarter. And then that's your 18 by 27. Again, 27 twice is 54 inches, might be a little bit bigger, might be a little bit smaller. But typically that's about what you're doing. You can't really order 3 and you can't really order 5 because you're doing a rectangle. So if you order, if you're cutting, right, if you did 3, that's a fat quarter and a fat eighth, it makes an L. Because if I were to split the yard and cut it long, then it's all skinny. It's going to be a skinny fat half. It's not going to give someone, because it's going to be 18 inches by 55. So you're not going to be able to get a traditional fat yard out of that cut. So the way that we cut is always fat yard, fat half, and then down from there. And so, when you've got a fat half and it's 27 by 36 and somebody orders 3, that means you're cutting out one of those fat eighths of the corner and you're giving them an L shape. It doesn't typically work. So if somebody orders 3, we send them a fat eighth and a fat quarter. So I just thought I'd kind of go over that because there always seems to be a little confusion. I think people think that the cut just kind of grows like this, but it really doesn't because you're dealing with eighths. So anyway, sorry, that was a little bit of an aside. So didn't mean to be teaching there. Okay, and then that Yellowstone. Look at that Yellowstone color. Just such a deep, beautiful, buttery color. Again, this would be another one that would be, you know, really cool with like a monochromatic design on it too. A deep purple would look beautiful on that. Obviously black, even our deep red. Lots of possibilities, but look how nicely pressed, you know, and folded and presented, and her serging is beautiful. Now she serges, I do not. So you're gonna get, you know, selvage, and you're gonna get, you know, you're gonna have a raw edge. We are talking about potentially getting a serger. If I do something like that, my fear is it's going to really extend my ship time, because then I already cut it, iron it, tag it, bag it. Now then you're talking about serging, you know, on top of that, and it just adds so much time because, you know, so I don't know, you know, occasionally I'll have someone who will, you know, say, please, can you do something? And I'll zigzag the edge for them. So, and I will do that, you know, on request. The next colors that they came out with was Ween Beans, again named after one of their dogs. This came out at market last year and super popular. Beautiful, beautiful modeling, beautiful colors. Again, just super nice fabric. Everything is Zweigart based, and really, really love Ween Beans. Been a very popular color. Shortly after that, they came out with another color, Creme de Menthe. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's just a deep teal-y color. Gorgeous modeling. All their modeling in theirs is really, for the most part, you know, nice and subtle, not super spotty. Just really beautiful. So this is Creme de Menthe. Then at the same time they came out with Creme de Menthe, they came out with Lightning. And this has been a super popular color since it came out earlier this year. Isn't that pretty? Or maybe it was at the end of last year. Maybe, I think it was at the end of last year. I can't remember. Maybe January. Fairly recently. Again, very subtle modeling in it, and it's kind of a grayish leaning purple kind of color, but really pretty, really pretty. And the final two that they had come out at market, very excited to see, were Spellbound and Heirloom. And I super, super love this. I'm gonna kind of try to keep Spellbound right behind Heirloom because I think it'll possibly make it show up better. Heirloom would be a beautiful sampler linen. Isn't that pretty? And I've already heard a couple of people talking about doing some different designs on Spellbound, not just like Halloween-y designs, but somebody suggested putting This Happy Morning from Paulette onto Spellbound, and I think that would look just gorgeous. Because that was one design that Paulette had on a dark and a light, a model for each. So really, really pretty. This Heirloom is just such a beautiful color. Really, really nice. So when I'm showing you my whips, I'll show you one that I actually just started and working on, Shrekie's Tan, and really, really pretty. I know Teresa has several designers who are going to be stitching on Heirloom, their new designs, and so excited about that. They've got a couple, I think they have another color coming in May and possibly one in June or July. And I've seen the preview of those colors and really excited to see those. So if you haven't tried any of Needle Bling, give it a shot. I think you'll love it. So that's kind of my only shop related little blurb, but I've heard from so many of you that you love when someone shows fabrics and shows comparisons and things like that. So I thought I would do that today. Okay, let's see. I'm going to announce who the giveaway winners were from my last video. And again, I apologize that it's so long ago. in February, and so it was somewhat appropriate to show alphabet hearts from the lovely Judy Whitman from JBW Designs. And I mentioned that I thought she was just one of the most elegant, sweet ladies, and almost all of you agreed with me because she just is so nice. Jump over and check out her floss tubes. The winner of the alphabet hearts, the keyword was heart, and Nancy Barris, B-A-R-E-I-S-S. Nancy Barris was the winner. Congratulations, Nancy. Please contact me. I just need your shipping address so that I can send this to you. And I'll get that right out. And the other little project that I wanted to give, and this is a full project, and the keyword was sweetheart, is this Sweetheart Etui from Praiseworthy Stitches. And again, like I said, this was a full kit, and there even has the, the pins and just everything. So really, really sweet little kit. And the winner of this one was I'm a Gator Vet Mom. I'm a Gator, G-A-T-O-R, Vet Mom. And if you would contact me also with your shipping address, I'll get this right out to you. Ladies, both of you, I will have my email address in the description box below, and you can email me and I'll get that right out to you. So thank you for everyone who participated in that. And I've got a nice kit that I'm going to be giving away at the end of this video. I'll show you that and give you the word for that one. So stay tuned for that one. And let's move on. Okay. I think I'm going to show you some FFOs that I have gotten back. And I've got quite a few smalls that I'm going to show you. And I may have to just step aside and grab, I have 3 framed pieces that came back, and I want to show you those. And I should have brought it over here. I may just quick hit pause and grab those. But right now I have all of my little smalls in front of me, and I sent these off to just a lovely finisher, Terry from the Old Needle Shop. And this is the first one. Now I don't have charts and things like that. Some of these have been finished for quite some time and sitting in a finishing stack, waiting to be fully finished. So this was a pattern from With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais, and the name of it completely escapes me. I apologize. I think it's Where Liberty Dwells, but don't quote me. But I think it's Where Liberty Dwells. And I stitched it on a 40 count feldspar from Picture This Plus. And this is how she finished it. And this thing is nice and stiff, just a beautiful pillow finish with some little pins, and you see the little, that sweet little bow and pin at the corner. Let's see, got a little box here to drop things into. Staying with Brenda Gervais, this was Happy Birthday America. I did just the top stitch. I did not really want to finish it on that cake pedestal. So Terry took it, and look at that. Beautiful drum finish. And this is almost, it's a fabric that she used, but it almost looks like suede. And I don't know if you can see, but in that rickrack, you see the sparkle? It almost looks like pins, but it's actually not. It's actually like a little bit of a glittery thread that is woven through that rickrack. Silvery. Isn't that lovely? I am very excited with this finish. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, next up, now I did show you this was a quick finish that I had in February. This was Find Your Way to Love by Bent Creek. It's a round. And Terry finished it in a tart pan for me. And I love it. It just turned out so sweet. Very happy with that. That's probably the shortest anything I've ever stitched has sat in a finishing box waiting to be fully finished, because most of the time it seems like they sit for a while. This one has definitely been in the to be finished box for probably, I don't know, 3-4 years. And this is an old Lizzie and Kate design. I think it's from one of the Christmas things. And look at this finish. It's a flat fold. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. Isn't that sweet? I really like this one. Very happy with all the finishing. I just let Terry know. I had a couple of suggestions on 1 or 2, but the rest of them I just said, you know, surprise me. And so she did. Here was another one. It's a Lizzie Kate. And a little stocking. Isn't that sweet? So, love that one. Staying with the Christmas theme, because I don't know, I had these in here forever, but this was a Prairie Schooler, all stitched over one, and she finished them as ornaments. And here's the other guy who's matching from Woodland Santas from Prairie Schooler. Some beautiful matching Christmas fabric, or more winter. I think it's actually Winterberry's fabric line. Excuse me. Excuse me. And the last 2 things that I sent to her, again, if, excuse me. Again, if you followed me for a while, you might know that, good gravy, I stitched with Paulette Stewart from Plum Street, some of the little Prairie Fairies from Prairie Schooler. And I wanted these finished as little ornaments so that I could get one of those little trees and hang them on for my grandchildren's nursery. So these are the first 2, and I've got a couple more that I'm stitching. But these are all stitched over one on 32 count platinum from Zweigart. And I'll put that up a little closer. They remind me of Mother Goose. And this one's probably my favorite on the snail. The Garden Fairy. Anyway, so those are just, I was very happy. I just thought she did just an awesome job. Thank you, Terry. I really appreciate it. So, real quickly, I'm going to just kind of turn and show you the Plum Street sampler, the Equality sampler. If you've been following me for the last few years, you're aware that I stitch from Memorial Day to Labor Day, one of Paulette's Rhode Island style samplers. And it's kind of become an annual thing, and I will show you here in a minute. I've got one for this summer. And I had reserved boards at Total Framing. And so the third one came back. Now, the first 2 that I did, which is the Heritage Sampler and a new Constellation over here on this side, those I stitched on the same fabric. They both were stitched on Chantilly Cream by Lakeside. And the frames, you'll notice, are almost identical. The boards were really dark, so they look really good. When I got this last one back, the Equality Sampler, and I'll pull it down here in just a second, the boards were supposed to be the same, and they're a little bit different color. But I had switched fabrics to, I believe, vintage metal rue. I'll have to look. It may be, it's definitely a lakeside linen, but I had switched the fabric because of the colors that were in that particular sampler. And I had asked Paulette, because she already knew what she was doing for her fourth one, if I switched to a little bit more tan and a little less pinky gray that Chantilly Cream is, would that work? And she said, definitely. So when we got this, this third one done, I kind of liked it. I was like, you know what, even though, I mean, the fillet matches the others, but the frame is a little bit different in color. The finish on it is exactly the same, but the color is a little different. So I kind of liked it, and I was not unhappy with it at all. And so when I'm putting them up on the wall, it's going to be fine because I'm going to have two, and then I'll, the third one for now, I'll stitch another one that'll be done in September, and I'll send that one out. Terry from Total Framing, when I sent her a picture of all three together, she noticed it immediately. It was like, oh my goodness, look how the board color has changed. So she went back and checked to make sure that they would have some for my design or my stitch when, to match this one, so that I'll have 2 and 2. She's like, I've already, got it set up for you. It'll be fine, so they'll match. So I'm very happy about that. But I'm gonna pause just real quick. I'm gonna grab a couple other framed pieces. I'll be right back. Okay, here I am. Okay, so here is Equality Sampler up close. You can see that. I use museum glass, so there shouldn't really be too much of a glare, but that ring light is brutal. So there's the Equality Sampler. One of the other pieces that I had finished and sent to Total Framing, I believe like last fall. And again, these came back in early March, so was ES Spot, which is a female Worth. When McKenna from 1884 Stitchery got the rights to this, I was like on her site lickety split and purchased it and stitched it. And I really love the framing job that they did. Really beautiful. So that's ES Spot. And then last fall, I was at a retreat where Teresa Kogut was one of the designers, and she gave us this project, Pernici Manor, and I sent it off with, when I finished Equality Sample, I finished those two together, or sent those two together to Total Framing, and I received this one back. And look at that bird. That bird is awesome. And I thought the framing, just, you can see there, you can kind of see that frame color goes just perfectly with that house. So very, very happy with this one. So those were pretty exciting package to get in the mail. Okay, so there's the FFOs that I had to share. I have, since it's been 2 months, I do have some finishes that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to try to kind of pick up the pace a little bit so that this video isn't forever long and takes forever to upload. So let's see, in March, because I was feeling like I needed some bunny stitching to get ready for spring and Easter time, Stacey Nash came out with her velvet parsnip design. So I quickly stitched it, and here's that bunny. And isn't he just so handsome? I really love this bunny. Now, as you can see, I haven't fully finished it, but I did get some velvet, and I think I'm just gonna stitch it kind of together as like a a longer little pillow. So I'm working on it. But that's from Stacey Nash, the velvet parsnip. I stitched it on 40 count. I believe this is Navy Bean from Lakeside, using called for colors. I think it's all Weeks threads. So there was a finish that I started and finished in March, and that was a weekend finish. You can do that one really quickly. Then on April 1st, I went to my stash and pulled out the April wordplay. Now, from Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread. Now, I don't have the chart because I actually passed it to a friend to stitch. But as you can see, I did change mine a little bit. It also has the word like jelly beans, something else, something maybe like more food related, and I kind of wanted mine to be more just about like spring planting and flowers. So there's April. I moved daffodils. I took the little bee skeppin flower and moved them from down here up to here. Still included the word rain and tulips, and little bees and little birds, and so there's my finish of the April wordplay. And this is on a scrap piece of some birds of a feather sparrow linen that I have had forever and a day. I'm trying to pull things out of my stash to stitch, kind of like the wordplay. I've had the April wordplay forever. So I'm gonna finish that probably as a little pillow. I don't know. If I decide I want a flat fold, I'm gonna have to send it to Terry, because I have tried that and I stink at doing that particular type of finish. So I've got to kind of still decide on that one. And then did I mention airport stitching? Yes, I did. Another one that I've had in my stash for a long time. And you can tell that I've had it in my stash for a long time because I no longer really stitch on 32 count fabric. Because once I graduated to linens, higher count linens that allow me to stitch with just one single strand, I did it. Well, this was still started on 32 count. I can't even tell you what linen it is. No idea. But here was my finish of the, let's see, Bitter Flower Sampler, Birds of a Feather. 2 threads on 32 count and out of my whip pile. So this one came out of my whip pile mostly because when Ginger and I were bringing up the rear to finish Our Lasting Friendship, she got her initials in like a day or so before I did. And she immediately jumped over and she started Bitter Flower Sampler. And I said to her, I'm like, oh my goodness. I said, I obviously had to finish Our Lasting Friendship. I said, but I have that as a whip and it's probably a halfway done. And so I took her inspiration, and of course she whipped hers out really fast. And anyway, I pulled this out and I got a finish. So that's 2 finishes that Ginger has urged me to work on, or inspired me to work on, and thank you, Ginger, I appreciate it. So beautiful, beautiful design. I think I'm just gonna have this one framed. So let's see. Oh, one more finish. So I had 3 finishes in April, so I'm very happy with myself. One was a new start and finish, which was just a quick one. And then 2 were out of the whip pile. And last year for my birthday start, I had started Autumn Fractor from Plum Street Samplers. I'm sorry there for the glare. There we go. This color palette is my jam. And this design is perfection. And here is my finish. Can you see that? There we go. I love this, love this, love this. And I hope I'm holding it up long enough. So I stitched this with only one color change. It called for Piney Woods for the greens. You know, this is down here, this is greens, and then the half portion of some of the leaves and the vines. No, yeah, some of the vines. I switched it to Forest Glade from Gentle Art because the Piney Woods that I had was so brown that I just didn't like it. You know, and there's variation with, you know, with threads quite a lot. I probably see out of the bigger lines of the hand-dyed thread makers, the least amount of variation with weeks. There's pretty consistent. As we know with Gentle Arts, if you want to complete a project with a particular color, make sure you buy, you know, a couple of skeins if you think there's any possibility you're going to run out of that color. And because it does change. I've seen it change and then change back. So, you know, you just don't know. But my particular skein that I had in my stash of Piney Woods was just a little too brown for my liking. And so this is Wood Trail. And so the brown on the top, or the Piney Woods, which was on the top of Wood Trail, looked just like the Wood Trail. You couldn't even tell that there was, you know, much difference. So I switched to Forest Glade. And this is stitched on a 46 count linen. And, you know, I send out project cards. I give them out all the time. And dopey me didn't actually write what linen I pulled when I kitted this, because it was an impromptu birthday start and I didn't write it down. I do know it's 46 count. I think it's a seraphim fabric, but I can't remember exactly. But anyway, there's my finish, and I'm gonna have that one framed, and can't wait. I'm gonna be taking that. I wanted to show it first before I send it off to be framed. So, all right. So those were my 4 finishes, not fully finished. So I feel like I did a decent amount of stitching, a lot of airport stitching, a lot of hospital stitching, a lot of late night stitching after I would, you know, get back, and just with so much that's been going on, just to kind of clear my brain. You know, that's how I clear my brain is with my stitching. So I'm gonna quickly turn my attention to the whips, and I'm only gonna show you the couple of things that I've had, you know, what I consider to be significant progress, because after a couple of these finishes, I was a little wishy-washy and wasn't sure what I wanted to stitch next. So I've got a couple of, you know, maybe a night or two where I pulled out something and stitched on it, but not enough progress to really show you. So Mrs. Campbell, I showed you Mrs. Campbell in February, and I had done a page finish, and hopefully you can see that. This is by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. It's a lovely lovely sampler with hearts, and very appropriate for Valentine's type stitching. So in March, I finished a second page. So isn't that pretty? Really is pretty. And I'm stitching this on a 46 count. It's called Shadows, and it was a Victorian motto linen that was from my stash from when I used to belong to that club. So we got a second page finish. I'm supposed to be doing a third page finish, but I haven't pulled it out to actually work on it, so I need to do that. And then let's see. Oh, Spring Quaker. Okay, so March with Summer Quaker came out from Leela Studios, and I loved it, loved it, loved it. Well, I've had Spring Quaker. It was in my stash from when it came out from last March. So I thought, well, golly, I'm not gonna jump into doing Summer Quaker until I've done Spring Quaker. So I started Spring Quaker on February 26th. And when I show you this, you're gonna see why I stopped. Because I made an error. And I'm so irritated with myself, and so now I gotta do some picking out. But I got pretty significant, can you see that? Pretty significant progress. But do you see the handle? Boy, was I irritated. So I added one too many stripes in here, and this has to be extended over. I don't know what in the world, but two different errors. And so as I was going back through and trying to find out where the error was, I was just super annoyed. So I stopped, and I'm just like, ugh, okay. So I'm gonna set it aside until I have an evening where I've got the patience to sit and pick out, do some frogging. But look at those bunnies. I think those bunnies are so sweet. Now you will probably notice that I did make a major change. The colors of the Quakers are supposed to be roasted chestnut and brandied pear, which are very similar in color. And I kind of wanted mine to be a little more springy looking. So I went to my threads and I pulled out old purple paint from Gentle Art. And again, because I had 3 or 4 skeins, don't ask me, half skeins in my stash, I noticed that I had kind of two different, almost like 2 different colors, right? So hopefully you can see this. This is very purpley. And it's supposed to match. These would have both been roasted chestnut. Same thing with this one. Very purpley, and it matches. This one is supposed to be brandied pears, I believe. And so what I did was I pulled threads from the other skein of old purple paint that I had that were very brown in tone. So they're still the same, thread ostensibly, but because I needed, that different contrast, that's what I did. So I think it's gonna look beautiful when I get it finished, once I fix that handle. So anyway, thought I'd show you, even though there's a boo-boo on it, thought I'd show you because I've spent a tremendous amount of time over, the last 5-6 weeks stitching on this particular design. Okay. And that one, that fabric is Lakeside Linen Porcelain. And it's a 40 count. Okay. So, I just discovered that boo-boo earlier this week. And I was like so irritated. So I didn't even stitch a night or two. But then Friday, I was like, I don't know, I watched a big chunk of the draft, the opening round of the NFL draft, which took place here in Kansas City. We'd taken the afternoon off. My son, we were down at the draft site. He stayed for the whole night. I came back home. And because I wasn't going to brave all that traffic and what have you. And so I'm digging around in my stash and thinking, okay, what are my plans? Because I'm kind of, getting over some of the spring stitching and almost ready for patriotic and summer stitching. And so I'm digging around and I thought, you know what? I have had this design in my stash forever and a day. I mean, it came out in 2011. I probably bought it in 2011. And so, just one second. There we go. So I pulled it out. It's Liberty 1776, Little House Needleworks. And I pulled some threads, beautiful threads. A couple of them are called for, a couple of them just happened to match real close and just from my stash. And here's my progress. Oop, upside down. Let's try it again. Here's my progress. So this I started about 9 o'clock Friday night and stitched on a little bit last night. And I'm stitching this on 40 count Shrekie's Tan. let's see, there's probably a good look. So if I hold that up, I think it's stitched on cocoa. Well, cocoa doesn't have that ambery tone that design looks like it has. Cocoa is also a little more brown. But, you know, that's 2011. I mean, that's, you know, 12 years ago. So linens change, but I think that's pretty good right there. And I love it on the Shrekie's tan. So I'm gonna finish this up. I think I can finish this up pretty quickly, probably in the, you know, couple more sessions, stitching sessions. We'll see. I've got quite a few things that I still need to work on for some of my mom's accounts. We're getting things changed over and working on some of that. So I've been doing that in the evening too, going through, you know, her books and things, because she just is not capable of doing any of that kind of stuff anymore. So anyway, that's what I'm working on. Those are my whips. Hope you loved seeing them. Plans. What am I doing next? Moving to Summer and Patriotic, as I just talked about with Liberty 1776. And so I have a couple of sals that I am going to be co-leading and or participating in. And so those are going to be, you know, a big chunk of my summer. So I'm going to share those with you real quick, and I'll share them with you in the order of which I'm going to be starting them. My first one is my Memorial Day start that I set myself a goal to finish by Labor Day. And I'm very blessed to have Paulette Stewart be a good friend of mine. And I was originally supposed to go to the Shepherd's Bush retreat 2 years ago, which got canceled twice due to COVID concerns. And she was one of the designers, and this particular design, which you've seen, so I'm not showing something, was exclusive to that Shepherd's Bush retreat. And then I ended up having to cancel, and my birthday's also in October, and that retreat was that weekend of my birthday. And so Paulette very kindly sent me the sampler, and it's called the New World Sampler. So if you were at the Shepherd's Bush retreat, you have this. If you were not, it will be coming out this fall. And she put the sweetest little note on here, knowing it was, you know, my birthday. And she's like, you're getting the very first copy. So I'm thrilled beyond thrilled. She also knew that if I didn't get this, I wasn't going to have anything to stitch this summer for my annual Rhode Island Plum Street sampler. So it's just an absolutely beautiful design, and I'm very excited about that. So that will be my May. I don't even know what day. I have to look to see what day Memorial Day is, but I have everything pulled and ready to roll with that one. So that will be ongoing from May until Labor Day. Then the very sweet Merritt Crawford, who is so _just_because, BEECUZZ. She had seen, I think, my Paula Vaughn Designs highlight that I did earlier in the year. And so she messaged me and asked if I would want to co-host a stitch along with her. And I'm thrilled to do so. So we are going to start on June 21st. We invite everyone to participate. If you were a Paula Vaughn lover back in the day when they were so popular, or you still do love them, pick a Paula Vaughn design and stitch with us. Here's going to be the one that I'm stitching, and it's called The Forgotten Basket. It's book 23. And I think this is very appropriate for summer stitching. It also is a design that I thought it was doable for me, since I know I'm going to be working on the New World Sampler. So, and I love this one. The other thing about this one is book 22 is a companion to it. And so I want to stitch that one as well. So I thought, well, you know what? If I get this one done, then I can move on to the other one maybe next summer. So love, love, love Paula Vaughn designs. I think they're timeless and romantic, and just love them. So this is what we're going to be doing. If you want to join us, the hashtag will be hashtag Summer Stitching Paula Vaughn. We start June 21st. If you watch Merritt's Flosstube, you'll see her announcement of it as well. We'll post on Instagram also, and would be thrilled, be absolutely thrilled if you want to stitch a beautiful Paula Vaughn with us. There you go. Okay. Oh, and I have picked my linen. I'll show you my linen. I'm going to stitch mine on Thornfield. I think that'll be a really, really beautiful linen to stitch this design on. I think it's going to be really pretty. So that's going to go on Thornfield. All DMC threads. And then I did not pull my Summer Quaker, but I'll just quickly mention it because I know Samantha Roberts, who's the Hygge Stitcher, she is posting about it and mentioned in her latest Flosstube that she's going to be starting a stitch along called hashtag Live in the Sunshine Sow, and she's going to be stitching the Summer Quaker from Leela Studios. So I know I mentioned I didn't really want to start the Summer Quaker without finishing the Spring Quaker. I'll see what happens with the basket handle and getting that fixed, and I may end up starting the Summer Quaker. It's not till August 1st, so I have some time, but I may end up stitching it first, or without finishing the Spring Quaker. We'll see how it goes, but hopefully my goal is to have both of them done pretty quickly. So there's the plans, the loose plans, or no, those are not my loose plans. Those are the hard, fast plans. My loose plans, which, and I know this is getting long. My loose plans are going to be, and these are some things that I pulled out when I was pulling out, and I chose to stitch Liberty 1776. But some other things that I pulled out that I want to stitch this summer. Little Red Schoolhouse Pin Keep from Pansy Patch. Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. Love this. And I think I have the perfect finish for this. So, and that's monochromatic, so that would be easy. Let me pull this out because of the plastic. I should have done that already. Another one that I really love and want to stitch is Feather Your Nest. And this is an older pattern I've had in a stash a long time too. This is from 2009. This is from Brenda Gervais with the needle and thread. I love that bird. Really cool stitch. So that one I'm considering. And also this last one, which is also a Brenda Gervais with the needle and thread. And that's Liberty House, which is a small little sampler. So I could probably stitch this one pretty quick too. So those are the three that I have pulled, and could be potentially, since they're kind of smaller designs, that bird might be a little bit intense, but for the most part, there's, smaller kind of quick designs, give me that little bit of a fix, for a new thing, because all my other projects seem to be so big. I don't know why I pick big projects, but I do. So there's some possibilities. If you want to stitch along with some of them, we'd love to have you do so. I'm going to quickly show the giveaway for this next time. I'm going to ask that you, if you want to participate, that you don't use the word freebie or giveaway or anything like that, because I want this to go to someone who is a stitcher, who's not just trying to get some freebies. And this is a kit that I received because I belong to a particular club, and it's just, it's a beautiful design, but I just know, in my heart that I probably will not stitch it. It's a gorgeous Biscornu. Oh gosh, let me pull the front cover thingy out so you can see it better. Maybe. Let's see here. Doesn't want to come out. Okay, here we go. It's the Sweet Melissa Biscornu. And I know Biscornus are supposed to be super easy. I've never done one, and I don't know, they just somehow don't appeal to me. Look at the bees. So it's perfect for summer stitching. And this was, like I said, part of a club, and I'm going to just pass it along. It's got everything in here. There's buttons, there's linen, there's threads, there's even a needle. And so if you are interested in this one, just use the word Biscornu in your comment, because that'll be what I search for. This is from Heartstring Samplery, and I'd rather pass this along than have it sit in my stash knowing that it probably won't get stitched, or if it does, it'll be a long time. So if you're interested, Biscornu kit, Biscornu. Okay. I think my table in front of me is actually now somewhat empty. Can you believe that? And it's been forever. I'm so sorry to be so long. Hopefully I can knit these two videos together from where I paused without any problems and get it uploaded. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you for joining me whenever I, visit. I apologize that it's been so long. Obviously the stroke we weren't, prepared for, and so I'm still, running back and forth to Springfield, and on the phone every day with my two sisters. As we deal with going forward the care, we're trying to keep her at home. She was in the hospital for a week. Did not qualify for rehab care because of the physical piece of this stroke. Did not put her into something where she needs like heavy duty, physical therapy or anything like that. It has just affected the ongoing dementia that she was already suffering because of the heart condition, and the fact that her brain isn't being fully oxygenated because her heart function is so low. And now with the memory and cognition because of the stroke, it's really, an issue. So I just want to say, thank you so much for your kind comments, the encouragement that I've gotten from those of you who knew, what has happened. And I promise to try to not be so long. I know it's hard to follow somebody when they're kind of wishy-washy and don't do videos sometimes real regularly like we'd like. So I really thank you so much for sticking with me, and I hope everyone has an awesome Sunday. Enjoy the beginning of your summer plans, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much, and remember to create every day. All right, bye-bye now.